we can cover a lot. I've got a few notes. I've done a bit of background.
Oh my God. Right.
Yeah, I mean, when I say background, I mean, I've been on your website. Yeah, so I've done that. How's your comedy store weekend in London?
Great.
Yeah.
Really, really good. It's just so set up for comedy. That room is just adorable. I just love it. It's really good. So, and also because they changed the shows, so they're earlier.
Yes.
We were all saying, God, remember in the olden days, the late show started at midnight.
No way.
So if you were on last, it was just the worst thing in the world because depending who's comparing, if they went on a bit, it could be 2:30. And then you'd come off and there'd be nobody there except the audience. All the acts would have gone. You'd just be
Holy shit.
I feel sad.
A 12 o'clock start?
Yeah.
When did they nip that in the bud?
It was a few years ago. It was the guy at the Manchester store said to Don, you'll sell as much drink, but people won't be asleep.
Yes.
So that was what it became more. It wasn't so much that it was rowdy, it's that people had no energy and were asleep. So now, first show starts at 7 o'clock. Next show starts as close to 9:30 as they can.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I mean, I've been in to watch. It's an incredible room.
Yeah.
It's just so good. And yeah, the early start, I went for the 7 o'clock one. I was like, I've got the rest of my night now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I can just go and then go off and do something else.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Oh my God, I have to finish.
Yeah.
See, when you hear people like do fringe shows and they'll start at like 2 o'clock in the morning, you're like, why are you bothering?
Yeah. And
why are you bothering?
It's different in the fringe. I mean, I wouldn't do it now, but, used to, and people would go, oh, but it's not like the fringe. But, it doesn't feel like 2 a.m. because people are on their festival time. And you can get sort of perfectly sober people at 2 a.m. watching shows, and it sort of works. I don't want to do it because I would be in bed by then. I also don't think it's a way to advertise your show. I think just do those shows if you want to do late shows.
Yeah.
Nobody's seeing you at 2 a.m. is going to go, oh, I must remember tomorrow to buy a ticket for that person. They just go, I've seen them at 2
They'll stumble into you. That's all that's going to happen. Or the people that do like the 24-hour fringe shows and things like that for the sake of doing them, I'm like, come on.
I feel there must be something wrong with them mentally. It's like, how much love do you need to do a 24-hour show? Oh my God.
I don't like the novelty of shows like that in the fringe. I'm just very much, just give me the comedy.
Yeah. An hour. Nobody wants more than an hour.
Because you're very much a kind of, your fringe shows, there's no themes, it's no messing about. It's just...
No, because it's stand-up. So there'll be a through line.
Yeah.
I won't know what that is until I've written all the stand-up.
Yeah.
And that the stand-up comes throughout the year. And sometimes you think you've got a really good subject and then realise, oh, nobody else is interested in that. So that's now not a bit of stand-up. And then something else, you'll go, oh, well, people seem to relate to this.
Yeah.
So this is now becoming a thing.
Yes.
And then it's sort of towards the end, like it'll be sort of next month, that I'll start thinking, right, what can tie this together? What's my sort of through line or callbacks at the end?
Yeah.
To make this, to dress it up into a show.
Yeah. To give it the full shebang.
Yeah. Well, now I would think they kind of know what comedy I do. And that's why it's always really annoying when you're trying to plug your show and they go, oh, so tell me, what can people expect from your show? And you just want to go, oh, it'll be funny.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Just come, it'll be funny. I'm not going to do the jokes now. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
I've been doing it long enough that it will be funny. Just come along.
I mean, it must be pretty good. You kind of go like, I've got this. It's gonna be selling well.
Yeah, should be. I mean, you never know. And also this year there's a lot of rumour, isn't there, about ticket sales are down.
Oh, what is there?
Yes, apparently.
Oh, no, the rumours.
Because of cost of living and Edinburgh being the most expensive place in the world to go for a couple of days.
Yeah.
That there is talk that there's less punters.
You'd like to think that would encourage locals to come out then.
Yes.
You'd like to think this would be the year, like the 2021. You'd like to think this would be the year you go, do you know what? If there's no people around, we'll go back out. We'll have a city.
I do get a lot of locals, which I like, but you always still bump into people and have that conversation where they've never been to the print. They've lived in Edinburgh all their lives and they go, oh, I must go sometime. Yes, go.
Yeah. Or they'll go and see someone at the EICCC.
Yeah.
EICC.
The worst is they'll go and see, like you say, somebody huge off the telly.
Yeah.
And the Ladyboys in Bangkok.
Yeah, oh God,
That'll be the show that they see every year.
Oh God.
And
Have you ever seen that show?
I think I saw it when I very first came to Edinburgh, and I also was in CC Bloom's Drunk, and they were on there.
Okay, right.
And then you realise kind of what they do, and it's sort of a franchise because they're different ladyboys all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just lip syncing.
Is that it?
Yeah, it's lip syncing.
Oh, that's
and
awful.
They look amazing, and if you go and see the actual show, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're lip syncing or not because it's just pissed women screaming along to songs.
Yeah.
So they just pick whatever are the chart things, you know, if it's all the single ladies year, or this year it'll be Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
You know, I can buy myself flowers. That'll be that, and just drunk women.
Is that
screaming along? Yeah. And
Oh
that's
my
what they
God.
like. You go, well, you could just do that. You don't have to see them. Yeah.
They must make an absolute fortune from that. That's insane. Just to do lip syncing. Are you glad that it doesn't extend down into Leith? Are you glad that there's just like a kind of like almost that you could just get your escape?
Yeah, and it is nice that it's nice the walk up Leith Walk where you're just like, oh, it's not even like the festival. And because I'm in the stand, I don't have to really go into it unless I want to. Because sometimes it is just too much bombardment, too many people leafleting, too many stars on people's posters and reviews that make you just want to kill yourself, you know, full of jealousy. So it's quite, I can keep in my own little bubble of just go up and down.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. But it's like where you live, isn't it? Like now I live in Edinburgh. I've never been to Edinburgh Castle. You know, you don't, when I lived in London, I didn't go and see things that all the tourists go and see. You just don't. You just go, I'm busy. And where's Buckingham Palace going? Nowhere. It'll be there.
Yeah, I've been at Edinburgh Castle. I've lived here all my life.
Yeah.
And I went when I was like 6 at school. And I would never, ever go in it.
Yeah.
It's just, there's no attraction to me for going anywhere near that. Even like Camera Obscura. I don't even know what that is.
No, I don't. But people tell me about it. Visitors always, and I go, oh yeah, great.
Oh, they go,
and I don't really know what it is.
I have no concept of what Camera Obscura is.
They go on about the view. And I don't know.
Nah.
And I'm not curious enough to go.
Yeah. And then they go, oh, you need to go. You've been to the Edinburgh Dungeon, I'm guessing. I go, no, I've not.
Yeah.
Why would I go and see that?
Yeah.
No.
I've not been to the London Dungeon either. But I've got an idea what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's drama students dressed up.
Yeah.
Who are going to jump out.
Yeah.
And I'll hate it.
Yeah.
Anything that's like that participation thing, absolutely terrible. That's not for me. And also castles, it's always the same old shit, isn't it? It's, you know, that, what do you call them? Helmets, armour.
Yeah.
Armour, pictures of old people throughout history, guns.
Yeah. I think if you've seen one,
all the same.
If you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Absolutely. The worst thing, and it's from going as a kid, stately homes, museums, bits of old Roman pots. Could not give a shit about a bit of old Roman pot. And I remember as a kid going, oh, we're going to a Roman fort. But it's not a fort.
Yeah.
You're just in a field with some lumps. Like they'll go, oh, that bumpy bit, that was where the Roman kitchen was. It's not, it's just a bit of grass. It's not anything.
There's fuck all there.
Nothing. Yeah.
I remember I got taken, when I was younger, to the secret bunker. Did you hear
Oh, yes.
And it was just like, and in my head, I was like, this is going to be the coolest thing on earth. It was so shit. Even as a child, I was underwhelmed about the secret bunker. It's just
I see
nothing
the sign
to
for the secret bunker all the time. You drive by and you go, secret bunker. But also, because I grew up in the Air Force, and we had bunkers when I was a kid. Those bunkers that were from the Second World War, and we used to play in them because at that time they were open. They didn't really care what happened to children. So you could go inside them. So I'm like, bunkers? I've seen bunkers.
Fuck your bunkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was that where was it you grew up?
All over, because it was Air Force, so you move around all the time.
Ah, right.
But always in England. Like there were good postings abroad, but we never went anywhere, mostly up and down the east coast of England.
All right, okay.
Keeping the communists away. That's what we were doing at that time. There was great fear of communism.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
We had different levels of alerts, and I always remember my dad telling us when the alert went what we had to do. We were in Norfolk, and he told my mum to get us all in the car, and we were to drive to Ireland. That was always the plan. And even then, I was going, I think that's quite a long way.
Yeah, that's very simplified. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jump in the car, we'll be in Ireland in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's funny that because I kind of growing up, you always see that in films, like kind of all the dirty commies and everything like that. But that was properly like,
Oh yeah, they were there. They were definitely a very real threat. And also, I went to a convent boarding school. And
Right.
the nuns were obsessed with communists as well.
really?
Because obviously communism, they'd heard, oh, you can't be religious.
Yeah.
So they were like on the lookout. And I remember them telling us that the communists were tunneling into the school. Like if you were bad, they would go, oh, well, you'll be the first the communists will take. And there was also the threat that, you had to pray. And we did. They scared us so much. Me and my friends, we said, we better pray extra so that the communists don't come. Because the communists wouldn't let you see your parents ever. I mean, how mean is that?
So funny.
So cruel, isn't it? We were like, oh, please don't let the communists come so we'll never see our parents again. Yeah.
That's like the kind of modern day thing is like Santa. If you don't do this, Santa will not come and visit, and you would just threaten with communists. I said I went on your website, did a bit of kind of digging. There's something that's always mentioned in all the kind of like interviews and everything like that, but I can't seem to find it. It's, you wrote for Joan Rivers.
Yeah, when I was working at So Television on Graham Norton's show, they also made a show with Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
And they were trying to revive Celebrity Squares.
Yes.
It had been revived in America. And then they did it again in Britain. They called it Soho Square.
Right, okay.
To try and make it cool and trendy. And one of the people that they would have was Joan Rivers. And so she was like, well, I want jokes that will work for Britain.
Yeah.
And so they said, oh, we'll get, our writers to write some jokes, Graham's writers. So we wrote some jokes. And then she just went through and picked a couple of mine. So I was like, oh, she picked mine.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And she was quite a regular guest on the show. And she would always like to know what Graham was. No, she's all about prep.
Oh, yeah.
What's Graham going to do? Okay, so I want some jokes about this. And they would go, oh, Joan also wants to have some jokes about this if we're going to talk about Mariah Carey or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Or things that were more British that she thought, well, I'll talk about that person.
Yeah.
And then people will be surprised that I know who they are. John Leslie.
Yeah.
Whoever it was at that time, that
God,
was the bad celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think she's also the only person that when she was on, well, her and John Waters, the filmmaker, were the only people that I went up to and spoke to and got autographs and that, because you weren't meant to, because you're working on the show, so just leave these people in peace. But Joan Rivers, I couldn't stop myself. And then he started talking to me. He went, oh, I really like your shoes. And then we had a really lovely conversation.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That must be very cool.
Great, yeah.
Because I think Joan Rivers gets forgotten about as in the kind of all-time greats of comedy.
Yeah.
She is unbelievable. And I think when you kind of watch her, you forget she was one of the funniest people ever.
Yeah.
It's incredible to watch her performances. It's like a force of nature. She's wild.
She is, and unafraid, afraid but pushing through.
Yeah.
She was always very, right, if this is what you say you can't do jokes about, I'm doing jokes about.
Yeah.
And they always say she was the first person to do jokes in New York after 9/11.
Yes.
It's like, we have to.
Yeah.
We've got to move on, So she started doing all those jokes about all the happy widows who were getting all the insurance from people who jumped out, So, she was really funny. And it just must have been really hard for her.
Yeah.
Because there was no, there was such a boys' club then, and she was in writing rooms, and it was all, she worked for Sid Caesar and all sorts of TV shows and that.
Yeah.
But, it wouldn't have been fun, I think, and she always felt a bit excluded from stuff like that, and that was hard. And then she was like, I also liked the fact when she'd go, when people would say to her, oh, you're such a great influence on me, especially younger women in comics, and they would go, amazing. And she was like, I'm not fucking dead. She would really annoy her that they would go, oh, you're such an icon. She goes, icons are dead, and it would make her competitive again. I'm going to fucking show them, and I like that about her.
Yeah.
And such a hard worker. And I saw a really good clip of her doing a concert somewhere, and she did a joke about Helen Keller, which is one of those subjects in a joke where I never really know.
I think is she a famous American deaf woman.
Yeah.
That's all
And
the context I've
that's
got.
all the context I know from
Yeah.
it being in jokes. It's a
Yeah.
bit like Star Wars. I've never
Yeah.
seen it, but I know the jokes.
Yeah.
And a man stood up in the audience and said, "My daughter is deaf. You know, how dare you do jokes? This is really upsetting." And she absolutely slammed him, but in a way of going, "You don't know what's going on with people. You know, this is how we get through life, by making jokes."
Yeah.
And I'm also going to do jokes about cancer. So get ready for that. I'm going to do jokes about this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then backstage, she went, "I felt really terrible doing that. Of course I feel for him if his daughter's deaf.
Yeah.
But I can't back down.
Yeah, oh God,
because
yeah.
then I can't do any of my jokes."
Yeah.
And he's come to a comedy show, and there will be jokes on all these subjects. And I thought she's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
You
don't know what's going on with people, but at the same time, people in the audience, they go, "You can't be offended because you've come to a comedy
Yeah,
show."
100%. You would lose the room if you went, "Oh, I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah.
Here's something else." People go, "Oh, that's not how this is meant to go."
No, because then it would be everyone going, "Oh, well, now I'm offended by that subject, and now I'm offended by that." You've just got to go,
Yeah,
"No, just
you have to. Yeah,
can't
even
take it, leave."
yeah. Oh, that's cool. So, what was she like when you got to meet her?
Just great and very about the work.
Yeah.
You know, about joke and just appreciative of good jokes, and self-deprecating, and then like, okay, clear off out the dressing room because it takes a very long time for my makeup to be put on. You know, and just yeah, great.
So that's a case of meeting your heroes goes well.
Yeah, and goes well. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had anything the other way around of?
I don't think so, really. No. I mean, I've heard stories of people. Do you know who's usually awful?
Who?
People who aren't that good.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be what I'd say from doing Graham. Not all the people that were on the show. I remember Jerry Halliwell being really rude.
Oh, really?
People who are rude to like the little people, like the runners and people like that. And she was just really rude. And but people who are actually really famous and good at what they do are always nice to people because they know that's the business. And also, it's stupid not to be nice.
Yeah.
You know, like the most amazing person was Dolly Parton. She was like everything you would hope her to be. And it was, I swear to God, she came in for rehearsal, which not many people do. They just turn up, right? But she was like, "No, I want to rehearse." And you could smell her before she arrived. Like a wonderful perfume of Dolly coming in. And then you go, "Oh my God, that was the Dolly smell."
Yeah.
And she came and she would say, like, there's the crew guys and that, and some blokes were still putting up the set. And she was like, "Hi, how are you?" Talking to everybody.
I love that. I love hearing things like that.
Oh, and she was just really funny. And then when she was on the show, she's got her lines. She knows what she's about and how to sell herself. She's just amazing. And then at the end of the show, she was gone. And then I remember Graham saying in the office, and he went, "I don't care if it's completely insincere. She's so good at it."
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter if she goes off and goes, "Oh, I fucking hate that Graham Norton. Oh, God, England sucks." It doesn't matter because we loved her. Everyone just fell in love with her, and she gives you 100%.
I can't imagine that that's fake. That feels like a genuine person because she does nice things out with when she's not on TV.
She does, yeah.
So it doesn't really feel. It feels like that's the real person.
Yeah.
Probably an exaggerated on camera, but still, it seems like a decent person.
Yeah, she does a lot of good charity stuff, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Did she not like open up? She not like a little theme park or something like that?
Yeah, Dollywood. She's got a theme park, but she also she's opened libraries everywhere. She's got some sort of book thing she does for poor kids and millions of sort of grants and education stuff and all of that.
Yeah. Jerry Halliwell, you could learn from that.
Yes, Jerry.
Fuck you, Jerry.
Yeah.
And you're just like hanging around with these people like week after week, getting to write
you're
jokes.
Not hanging around with them. I'm sitting in the studio watching the rehearsal, seeing if we need to add anything on that. But so you don't really have anything to do with them, which I think means I don't know if it is why I'm a bit not blasé about famous people, but a bit like, what's the point of being another irritating person?
Yeah,
and going up to them. Or people who get really excited by having their picture taken. You're just another annoying person. I always think if you really like them, either run up very quickly and say, "You're amazing, and I don't want to disturb you," and then leave. But don't annoy them. Yeah. And know when to go.
Oh my God, yeah. If I did something, I would be smash and grab, in and out.
Absolutely. absolutely. Go in, go out.
Sorry, don't want to disturb you, anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would. The part of me is the two minds of kind of going, I don't want to do anything, but oh my God, there's that person I admire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would probably struggle with that, but I would smash and grab, in and out, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse when you just see someone just like bend it ear and you just think, oh, I could leave them alone.
Yeah. And, you know, most people, they'll be really good about it, of course. But sometimes, you know, I remember having dinner with Graham, people would come up and go, I don't want to disturb your dinner. And then they would. Some people actually sat down at the table and you're like, oh my God. You know, and Graham would always be great with people because he's good at being famous. Some people are good at being famous.
Yeah.
He's good. Jason Manford is very good at being famous. And they make people feel good and they always have time for people. But obviously, it is tiring.
Yeah.
For them, you know.
Yeah. I remember I saw Jason Manford at the EICC maybe 10, 15 years ago, something like that. And he literally stood at a picture afterwards with everyone.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't care how long this takes, I will hang around afterwards. And he was given so much chat.
Yeah.
He was not moving people on quickly.
Yeah.
He was just properly in, and he was like, yeah, come on in. You've paid a lot for your ticket. Come on in. I was like, that's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he gets a lot of shit.
Oh, he does. And funny, on Twitter, he's very funny with it.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
People insult him. Yeah, that is very funny. Yeah, he's not so much Mr. Light End on Twitter, which I like. Yeah.
Yeah, fair play to him.
Yeah.
Because you can't, if people are going to come for you, you can't
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I like him. I've not seen him do comedy in a long, long time though.
I did not long ago because his tour obviously got cancelled through COVID. So he had Scottish dates that were sort of put back, and he went, I can't cancel them anymore. So he did. So I did Falkirk with him, which I'm sure he was quite tired because his schedule was crazy.
Yeah.
But again, you know, it was great and really funny.
And is he still doing the kind of meet and greets afterwards as well?
He didn't then.
Right.
No.
I mean, I'm born in Falkirk. I wouldn't fucking do that either. Fuck that. I would not want to be meeting and greeting them. You could have gone on. Is it a mini tour you're doing just now, or is it later in the year?
September starts end of September. I haven't done a tour for about 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
Because it gets a bit lonely, and I always thought I'd done it a lot, and I just thought, do you know what? I don't think I want to do touring. I really, really like doing clubs. I'm going to do clubs, and if I do corporates, then that pays enough. I can just do clubs. But because I've got this book, I thought, no, I should go out on tour again. I may enjoy it again. And also then I can sell a book after the show.
Yes.
So I'm going to start end of September.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I was going to mention the book. It's quite cool. Published author.
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's a mixed thing, obviously, because it's about my sister.
Yeah.
And I started writing in a genuinely cathartic way, like, how do I get this after she died? Like, how do I get all these thoughts out of my head?
Yeah.
And then I started to remember, because she was very funny at remembering funny things about her. And I wrote a couple of pieces and put them up on Twitter. And then, you know, and then people get in touch with you and that. And I thought, it does seem that this is resonating with people. And also I was quite angry about lots of things. So it was a good release for that. Especially when people would say things like, she's looking down on you. I bet, I'm going to punch you in the face.
People say that a lot.
Yeah, people did say that, weird things like that. And you just go,
fuck off.
And then, and also because in the book because she was a writer, I put some of her writing in there. So I thought, what better way then for people to kind of hear her voice, get to know her, maybe buy some of her books or whatever, and know who she was, keep her out there. And then any profits are going to Macmillan.
Brilliant.
Support.
Nice.
And I had to do a contract with them because quite rightly they said, well, anyone can say they're going to give them money. And, you know,
probably a lot of people do. And you go, it's all for charity.
So you've got to sign a thing and then give us the money. So I'm kind of going, what if it's really successful? I have to give them all the money.
Can we revise the contract a little bit? Some profits, just in Tipex.
Yeah.
So there wasn't even you didn't even plan. That was just a kind of just a process that happened. You'd written on Twitter.
I've written it, and then I sort of thought, I think it's a book, and it was a weird process. A bloke from a literary agency had asked me probably 10 years ago. He just emailed, "Have you ever thought of writing a book?" and I didn't get back to him. And then 10 years later, I went, "Are you still looking? Because I think I've written a book." And then he was very good. He showed me lots of examples of how you pitch a book.
Okay.
Which is exactly the same if you're pitching a TV show and stuff. And that's actually the hardest part
Yeah.
of trying to describe what you've written. And he said to me, "Well, you've done it the wrong way round because you're not meant to write the book first."
Right.
But I was like, how can you say what it is if you haven't written it?
Yeah.
I had to write it first to know what it was. So then I pitched it, and then he took it around and then got an actual proper publisher to want to publish it.
Because there was a video I saw on your TikTok of you like outside. You're like, "I'm about to go in and pitch this right now."
Yeah, that was the publisher said, "This is for foreign publishers."
Right. Yeah. That
Or
was
the
it.
publisher to go, "Right, do these people in Scandinavia want to buy your book?" And so I didn't really know what was going on. And it was quite intimidating because it was all very quiet. And it was people sitting around and then a man, and that's when I realised, God, I'm glad they said to me, "Do you want to do your own book?" Because I'm whispering like this means they won't hear. But somebody from the publishing house was then selling a book. You
Right.
know, he was going through, trying to sell it. And oh my God, this is so boring. Like nobody's going to buy this book.
Multiple pitches happening to the same group of people.
Yeah,
Right.
it's the
Okay.
same group of people. And
Right.
then, but much better. They said, they like it if the authors are there. And I thought, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
because
this guy's
these people
boring.
are dull as ditch water. So, it's just in this book is about this. Oh my God.
Fucking hell.
So I don't know yet if any of them, they haven't told me if anybody did want to buy it. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So it comes out in August is when it's officially out. Yeah.
So did you actually have to go in and then, what was your pitch like? Did you have to then go in and do it or?
Yeah. So I went in and you stand in front of a screen with your book there, the funny thing about death. And then, just try to sort of say what the book was, which is always difficult because I don't want people to just think it's sad.
Yeah.
Because it is funny as well.
Yeah.
But it is sad. Of course it's sad. It's a sad subject. But I think I've had people who've read it have really enjoyed it and said that, they said literally they laughed and cried.
Yeah. Perfect.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the list of quotes of the people who have read it, it's like, wow.
Yeah. No, that's nice. Yeah, that's really good. And I was very grateful for people who gave up their time because I know it's tedious, people sending you a book, because you've got to read it. And that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
And and also you could tell that people who had really, really read it, like Joe Brand had sent me an email with quotes from the book saying, "Oh, I love this and I love this bit," and I thought, "Oh, she's actually properly
Well
read
done,
it."
Joe. Yeah.
There's a few other people I thought, "Oh, I see maybe a skim reading."
First chapter, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So do you think that's inspired you to write more books? Do you think you'd want to do it again?
God, do you know what? It does.
Yeah?
Because the actual process of doing it, I really enjoyed. I really liked just being at the computer, just my brain, just the sort of being cut off, just you and thinking about the book. It's very different to writing stand-up because stand-up's it's so like you have to do it in front of people and you never know what you're doing until you do it in front of people. No matter how long I've been doing it, I can't tell until I say this in front of people. But with the book, I felt I could tell if that sentence was funny. And I did I read it out loud a lot.
All right,
I think
okay.
I've written it like it should be read.
Yes.
So I feel like at the end of a sentence should still be the punchline.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that process. And I rewrote it a lot. And I took out some stuff I thought that's too sentimental. You don't need that. It's a bit like, when there's a sad story on the news, I always shout at the television. If they go, a 5-year-old's been murdered or something, and if they go, and little Lucy, they put on their sad voice.
Yeah.
You don't need to, it's sad enough. Yeah. There's a 5-year-old been murdered. Just say the words. So some of it was like, don't dress it up, just say what happened.
Cut to the chase.
Yeah. So I actually enjoyed the process, and then I thought, I might write. Because some people said, maybe you'd write a novel. But I don't think so. I think I need to write another something of just, my thoughts about stuff.
Yeah.
Because then you can put in the more serious side of yourself, which which is quite mixed, isn't it?
Yeah.
The serious, the funny, and put them both in, get that out of my system, and then see where I might go after that. I was thinking of doing a book about all the things I haven't done,
All right.
because then I can give my views on them.
Things you hate that you would never do, or
Well, I just thought there's quite a lot of things that people would normally think of. Like I didn't go to university, even though people always think I did go to university.
right? Yeah.
Didn't get married, although I am married, but we didn't have a wedding. Is
Okay,
what I mean.
right,
and,
right.
And then I hate weddings. Haven't had children.
Right.
I like children, but I'm not interested in having them for a long period of time, which
Yep.
I believe you have to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's quite a serious time investment.
Yeah. Pets, either. I've never had a pet.
No.
And I would be keener on a pet than a child. But
Yeah.
I feel you don't get the same investment back, do you? Like a child could turn out to be
They could pay
very worth having.
Oh, yeah.
But a dog is, you're never going to go, well, when that dog wins crumbs,
This is really going to start paying off.
this is going to pay off. Yeah. So I sort of thinking, so I was thinking about things like that, and also quite a lot of things that, and I think quite a lot of comics are like this, that we don't like a lot of the things that other people like.
Although I didn't go to university,
Right.
don't have kids, don't want to be married. I
Yeah.
mean, exactly as you're going through
Yeah.
that list, and again, pets the only one I would consider of all of them. I would want a dog.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no, I would like a dog. I'd like a Westie or a Beagle. I
Yeah.
like them. They look interesting dogs.
Right.
And I'd like to go for a walk with them. But it ties you right down.
Oh, my, yeah.
Yeah. But it'd have to be a dog I could go, okay, I'm going away for a week. You do whatever you do.
Good luck.
Yeah.
There's the biscuits.
You'll need to go back to, when you used to be maybe a terrier? Did you used to catch your own food? Yeah, do that again.
Go do that in the local park.
Yeah, do that.
That's a good idea for a book. Because like you say, I think
Yeah.
comedians are the kind of, we don't do fall into the kind of normal, like we do that, we do
Yeah.
that. So yeah, that's quite an interesting idea.
It's funny that we're sort of quite anti-fun. Although we don't think we're anti-fun. But if I look at things that, like my nephews and nieces and my sister-in-law, things they like, I'm like, oh God, that sounds horrendous to me. But it'll be like doing karaoke, going to a musical. I'm like, oh God.
Fuck, I can't think of, those are the two, I can't think of anything worse.
Yeah.
That and Ladyboys of Bangkok.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Never want to do that. Karaoke, just melts my brain. I just would never want to be in the same room as it.
Well, I genuinely am a terrible singer, so it's no fun. I don't mind singing drunk in a bar,
Yeah.
while singing along just because you're pissed and there's music on. But to organise it, I don't.
And to go in like a private room.
private room and you take it in turns. And I remember doing it once in New York, and it was quite new then to have the private room. And I just had the most boring night of my life because all the people that could sing thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, fuck,
And
those
I
are the
was just
worst.
sitting around going, oh, Jesus. And weirdly, for some reason, I thought, I think I'll be able to do Cher's Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves because I love that song. Mm-hmm. And if I pretend to just do an impression of Cher, the voice will come. Oh my God, was I out of tune? and it's actually not any fun.
Yeah, it's always the people that are really good at singing that organise
Oh,
karaoke
yeah.
because they just want to show off a little bit. They
Yeah,
want to go,
you're
I'll
like,
do
well,
that.
should we move on? No, let's...
Yeah, another 5 songs.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst idea for a night out ever.
Picnics, they're terrible as well, aren't they? Because it's uncomfortable and there's never toilets.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan of that. I like being outside, and as long as I've got a drink.
Outside drinking, I was going to say, outside the kind of meadows type, Leith Links, having a drink.
Yeah.
That's it.
But to organise it into, and we've brought all this food with us, it's now gone a bit weird and hot.
Yeah, and we don't have all the tools to properly
No,
do anything
we
with
don't.
it. Someone's like, has anyone brought a knife to butter the bread? And no, I've got my car keys.
Yeah.
I start buttering with car keys.
And I remember as a kid, we used to do a lot of picnics. If we went to the beach, bringing the stuff to the beach. But also, we didn't even have like normal picnic food. My dad would bring a Primus stove, a little Primus stove is.
Yeah.
And then he would heat up like tins of stew and stuff in the summer on the beach. We're so mad.
Beach food.
And then for some reason, and I didn't know if this was a false memory syndrome, but I thought, and we had thermos masks full of mashed potato.
Oh.
But that's a really, I don't know how you get it out even.
Yeah,
But
that's a white. How'd you get it in?
Clear memory. Or maybe it was smashed, so it was so runny.
Yeah.
that it would
Oh, you just poured it in.
In and out of it. But I always remember being so envious of families where they would just have sandwiches.
Yeah. Oh, give me a
And
sandwich.
let alone families that would just go and get fish and chips on the seafront. Oh, but no.
Oh my God.
Weird.
People would just look over you. Why is that family eating smash out of a thermos?
And tins of stew. Or you used to get tins of boiled potatoes, didn't you? Maybe that was the Irish in us.
Yeah.
But, and we had to have those. You don't eat boiled potatoes on a beach, for God's sakes.
That looks like someone getting prison food or something. Oh, that's so funny.
That's the other thing I have always thought about. I think I'd be quite good in prison.
Do you think?
I think it's because of boarding school. I think you get quite used to bad food, living conditions, hierarchy, bullying. You get quite used to how to deal with things.
You gotta get in early.
Yeah.
Kind of make the friends.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be running a wing, but I could get on the right side of whoever was running the ring. I think. Yeah.
I think I could do that. Yeah, I think I could get. I think I would. That'd probably be my first goal when I'm in. Find the people in power.
Yes. Yeah. And then be amusing.
Exactly, Joe. Exactly.
Yeah.
Charm them a bit and then give them a bit of something, and then just be like, oh, they might just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And if they come time to be like, right, you need to go and stab someone now, I'll be like, I'd rather I didn't.
Yeah, is there something else I could do? Yeah.
Can I just clean somewhere? Anything like that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to have them kind of go, oh, but you know, Ralph, he's not really a stabber.
Yeah.
And they'll go, that's fine. He doesn't have to stab people. Yeah.
He's got other skills. He's got other strengths.
Skills. That's it. That's it.
You ever came close to going to prison?
I don't think so. I've done things that possibly are illegal, but I don't think.
I think most people.
Yeah, but
There's not been any kind of like high crimes or anything like that. No.
No.
You've dodged that kind of life.
No, I don't think.
So far. Still got time.
I remember being very excited. I've never felt more middle class than going to visit a friend in prison because I was so genuinely excited by the whole experience of it. But also sort of disappointing because it was in Suffolk.
Oh.
Where a lot of prisons are, Suffolk, Essex, sort of flatlands with not much going on. And it was sort of in the middle of nowhere. And I enjoyed all the searching and being with the prison wives. I like that.
Yeah.
And sort of trying to blend in with them. But I could tell they were going, because I was bringing in books and they were like, oh, she's a reader.
Contraband.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then them going through all the books and searching you, doing the mouth search.
Oh my God.
Do the mouth search. And then when you go into the room where you meet them, I didn't realise there was a special chair for the inmate.
Okay.
A coloured chair that they sit on, and then
Right.
the visitors sit on the other chairs.
Right.
And also the things they want. So there's a little cafe there where you can go and buy stuff. And my mate was immediately, will you buy me some Coca-Cola? I said, do you want a cup of tea? He goes, no, I want as many cans of Coca-Cola as you can.
Is that for selling and back and size?
I don't know, just because you couldn't get enough sugar.
Right,
somehow.
okay.
And it was a treat.
Right.
So I don't think you're allowed to take things out.
Right.
Just yeah. But also
Down in them.
his thing, he was like, he goes, everyone is just so thick. And he going, and he was pretty thick himself. But he was a Londoner, and he said these are all, and this was the big difference. He was going,
Right.
these are all like country crims. And so I looked down on them terribly. And then he goes, and a lot of them are just mentally ill as well.
Right, yeah,
So
yeah.
he said the most dangerous thing is not upsetting the mentally ill.
Right,
Because
okay.
they'll go for you. So the ones
Take
who
notes,
are
yeah.
actually dangerous are very careful about if they're going to
Yeah,
damage
yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
But the ones who are just crazy can just go crazy. Yeah.
That's just like just mad people in the street up here. You can
Yeah.
get in the
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah.
Keep away.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be obsessed with that as well. I would love to do that. That's like almost kind of like bucket list thing is kind of go in a prison.
Yeah.
Because I've seen so many films, TV shows. I would love that.
Yeah, and the way that they would flick through books in case, you go, I'm not really going to put is it a file? They always say
Yeah.
a file
In a
book.
cake.
A book. Yeah, hollow out a book, and then I don't think you weren't allowed to smoke then, so I couldn't, bring in tabs or anything.
Yeah.
And also very disappointing because I'd loved porridge when I was a kid. That they just wear sort of tracksuits.
Is that it?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, this isn't got the standards have gone down here, haven't they?
Maybe we'll go to like a supermax penitentiary in America. That'd be pretty wild.
Oh God, yeah.
I love any kind of like people going into like Ross Kemp on gangs in like
yeah.
Bolivian prison. Count me in.
Yeah. And even there's something about the cells. I remember me and my husband, we went to see Alcatraz, and I do love those old cells.
Yeah.
With that door, that metal door thing that goes across, and looking in the cells and immediately going, oh, I think I could do this up nice. And thinking how you do up your cell. You know, if you're the old lag who's been there a long time, you get stuff, don't you? And your cell could be looking really nice.
See, all I'm thinking is just Shawshank. That's what I'm just thinking of. The poster on the wall, the little things on. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Well, that's lifelong goal. Hopefully, I'll let you know if I ever end up in prison or just visiting anyone, Joe.
Ralph will like it. His cell will be lovely. Yeah.
One of the final parts is just kind of talking about comedy. We kind of talked on a little bit. You mentioned earlier you kind of do corporates.
Yeah.
And this is kind of something that I think a lot of people don't see what comedians do.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of them. Are you just kind of like, do they always just kind of go smoothly now because you kind of just been that you've got your thing, how to do them?
Well, the way I do them, because when I first started doing them, they didn't go well.
Right.
So I was like, oh God, this is so awful. How I've got to make it work.
Yeah.
It was just the pain of dying at a couple of corporates where just like 300 people just start talking and you can't leave because you've got to give out the awards now.
Ugh.
You've got to like 10 or 15 minutes of funny stuff where they've ignored you, and then you've still got to stay there and give out the awards, and they've got to come up and supposedly be happy to have a photo with you where they couldn't give a shit about you because you've been totally unfunny. So I've got to. And now I do a lot of research on whatever company it is, and I find it quite interesting because I know all sorts of weird stuff about different businesses and engineering or whatever it is, and in fact, and I find that sort of interesting, and it really pays off if you do some research, or just make sure you make it about the people in the room and not interested in your stand-up.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you go in with your club set, they're going to be like, what is he talking about?
They're like, we don't care about your husband.
Yeah.
No, they really, I mean, the only time that I can use any stand-up is if I do corporates in Scotland, so I can do my Scottish husband stuff. I can do my, this is what you people are like.
Yeah, perfect.
I always say to people with corporates, you've got to find what is your angle to talk about them.
Right, okay.
That's what, to make it about them. And then they can be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Because they're used to people being shit.
Yeah.
So often they'll go, oh, so-and-so we had last year. Oh, they were terrible. So-and-so we had, they were terrible. So they've come for what they think will be maybe quite a dull work to do.
Yes.
So if you make them laugh, sort of take the piss in the right way, because at the same time, they do want to win these awards.
Yes.
Because they're useful for their business.
Yeah.
So you've got to take the awards somewhat seriously in that way. But they will be so grateful that you weren't dull.
Yeah. Because, I mean, most of the stories you hear is, the corporate, death. That's all you hear about them.
Yeah.
And I noticed you had like loads on your website, and I was like, Jo must be really, really good at these. She's getting asked back for all these. Whereas everyone else is just like, I've done 3 and I'm never doing them again.
Well, I think that's the thing, when they ask you back, that is good. That's when you know.
Yeah.
Have you again. And often, so a company who runs different events, they might run, say, 10, 15 events. So if you do well for them, then they will book you for their others.
Perfect.
So it is worth, putting the effort in. Because I genuinely enjoy them now. I mean, some people it's not for them, but I do enjoy them.
Yeah, but it's just kind of the clubs, like you said, you've got the clubs, you've got the tour, and the kind of corporates kind of just keep the things away that you don't want to have to do because it pays so well, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And that can just leave you. I can just go back to the clubs whenever I want.
Yeah, and also sometimes to do a club where you go, I really like this club. They don't pay that much, but it's worth it to me to do a gig in a really nice club.
Yeah.
So I can afford to go. I'm not going to actually earn much that night. Or like if I'm doing Liverpool is so expensive to stay in always.
Oh my God, yeah, it is, isn't
It's
it?
just, there's always something on. There's
Yeah.
always Everton or Liverpool at
Yes,
home,
yeah.
or it's Aintree races or something, or just loads of people having hen and stags.
Yeah.
You can't get cheap hotels. So I look on that as, and I have friends in Liverpool that I don't stay with them, but meaning I'll go, right, I'm going to see them, do this lovely club, Hot Water, which I really enjoy.
Yeah,
But I don't
right.
really make any money.
Yeah. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that Hot Water on a Wednesday, and everywhere was sold out. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're talking like the Travel Lodge way out, and I was like, what the hell's going on? It was a Liverpool game.
Right.
Only place was round the corner, just right behind it, and it was just like, and the reviews were like, watch out, this is quite a bad hotel for human trafficking.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I was like, this was fucking left.
Yes.
Like all the reviews were like, prison, this is like a cell.
Yeah.
I went to the desk and they said, watch out for human traffickers.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, holy shit. But everything else, 100 plus quid
Yeah.
for a night in Liverpool on a Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
But it is a great city. I always enjoy it there.
Yeah.
It is nice to visit.
I'm guessing they'll be opening their new place and you'll be going down for that. The big
The plans
theatre.
look amazing.
Yeah, it looks
It
incredible.
does look great. Yeah.
It's always good when you hear of a new comedy club opening.
Yes.
It's very rare.
Yeah. And also new towns just putting on a night that you go, oh, so
Yeah.
it's still booming.
Yeah.
And when I was at Comedy Store, there's an open spot from China, Chinese woman. And it was so funny when she was talking to us and she went, well, there's about 30 clubs in Shanghai, comedy clubs now. Yeah. We were all like, wow, so if it goes tits up here,
Get
we
to
can't go
Shanghai.
to China. Yeah. And she said, oh, it's absolutely booming there. But interesting, of course, she was saying, but we were saying, can you do politics? She went, absolutely
Oh, God, no. Yeah.
absolutely not. You couldn't even make fun of, what the president looks like, anything to do with anybody in authority. You couldn't say a word.
Yeah. I remember seeing Des Bishop was on Chinese TV and he had to basically get his set like approved before he went
Yeah.
on. And I think he was on some kind of like karaoke show, but they were like, you cannot say anything.
Yeah.
Just watch your mouth, which is a wild way to live in a comedy set.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, imagine that in this country being that you're not allowed to mention Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
People are like, fuck off.
And I think you can't also sort of criticize even, like you couldn't say, oh, the public transport's terrible. Or you can't kind of criticize life in a way.
Yeah.
So you're going, what on earth are you talking about?
Yeah, you just have to make yourself the butt of all
Yeah.
of the jokes.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
Yeah. But nice that comedy is still booming.
Yeah, that's the communists for you, Joe. That's the communists in China. They're doing well over there. Perfect. Well, thanks very much for coming in, Joe. Really appreciate
you're welcome.
it. Just before you go, there's a little bit at the end where you get to suggest a guest I've got to try and get on a podcast in the future.
Oh.
So it can be anyone you want, anyone you like, up and coming comedian, other comedian, anyone you want.
I'm trying to think of who is a nice person to talk to as well. It was also a person where you go, oh, they're lovely to have a car ride with. Or if you go in the dressing room, you go, oh, that's good. Then they're good. Do you have to physically have them in this room?
No, I can try and get them on Zoom or
On a
anything like that.
Zoom or something? Who's funny? Just did a weekend at the store with Paul Thorne is very funny.
Yeah.
He's very funny chat as well.
Good, yeah.
Jeff Innocent.
Oh, yeah.
Adorable.
Yes.
And also always has a lot to say, Jeff, about this, that, and the other. Mostly ironing. He's very big on ironing.
Yeah.
Who else is very good? Sally Ann Hayward.
Sally Ann Hayward.
Yes, because she never shuts up. Yeah. So she.
Perfect.
Ideal guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll try and get Sally on.
Yeah.
Sure. And is there anything else you've kind of watched, listened to any albums, films you've watched recently, TV shows that you would want to put out there and go, I love that. I think other people might as well.
Oh, the thing I was surprised, and I never, there's too many platforms now. I don't know what channel thingy it was on.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't even know. I think it's American. I think it's called Jury Duty.
Yes.
Oh, have you seen it?
Yes.
I absolutely loved it.
I loved it. Yeah.
I thought it was really good. And it doesn't give the premise away. No, it doesn't. If I say, so everybody in it is an actor except one person.
Yes.
And it's so well done.
James Marsden.
Yeah.
He's so good, isn't it?
So good. Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that, because
Yeah.
I've said that to a few people and they've kind of gone, it doesn't sound.
It really works.
Oh,
And it
it's-
works so well that even at the end of the show, I watched the How We Made It
Yeah, same.
episode because I loved it so much.
Yeah, I wanted. See, when that last episode was coming up, I was like, they better show me everything behind the
Yes,
scenes.
yes.
I was like, I need to know.
Yeah.
And then they showed the control room. I was just like, brilliant.
Oh, it's so good. And I laughed out loud.
Yeah.
And also there's moments in it where it's quite moral
Yeah.
because the guy they picked does make good moral choices.
They couldn't have picked a
Yeah,
better person
yeah, no.
for that show. Excellent choice.
Yeah. And weirdly, he looks like an actor. Doesn't
Yeah.
He? He looks like a Ryan Reynolds or something.
Yeah.
He's like a really nice, good-looking guy.
Yeah.
But it is very moral. So I really enjoyed that. Very sad Succession's over. I loved that. I'm
Yeah.
looking for a new show. I don't have a show to watch at the moment.
Yeah, I don't have one either. Succession was it for me, and
Yeah.
and I was just I very really kind of go jump into anything with like 8 series or something like that. So I'm just
Yeah.
trying something new.
And musically,
Yes, I was going to ask.
two women, they're called ARXX, ARXX.
Yeah,
I recently saw them. They were at Sneaky Pete's.
cool.
And I'd heard them, and I don't even know how I got onto them. They're great. One plays drums and one plays guitar, and the one who plays guitar also sings. She's got an amazing voice, but it's sort of punky, but also a bit, I would say, punky pop.
Okay, like it.
Really hard as well.
Right.
But tunes. These girls have tunes. But what also really made me laugh is because some of it's really, is hard. But when they talk, they're really posh. But it was actually very endearing. They're like,
Yeah.
next track, oh dear, guitar's gone out of tune, oh dear. And I just thought, oh my God, I was not expecting you to be
Yeah.
like that, right? Because they look quite tough. Well, one of them particularly
Yeah.
looks quite tough. And then recently I saw they were supporting somebody at the Albert Hall. And then they put up a clip yesterday that they're on BBC6 Radio 1 Music, one of those festivals or something.
Yeah.
So they're getting some attention.
Nice.
And they're absolutely brilliant.
Arcs. Perfect.
Yeah.
Joe, perfect recommendations. Thank you very much for coming in, Joe. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
I'll put all your links to your Fringe show tickets in the description and everything like that. But thank you very much for coming in. Cheers.